Dear students, welcome to the lecture series on the topic Engineering Graphics. Today we are going to discuss about development of surfaces of solids. I am Dr. IPS Ahuja, Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering, Punjabi University, Patiala. Now for today's lecture we have got the development of the lateral surface of a funnel as it is shown in this figure. You see, here we have a funnel which has been cut at different orientations. You see there are different cross sections of this particular object. So this portion, now we are going to divide this total object into two parts over here. So this portion of the funnel, we are going to assume that this is nothing but this is frustum of a cone. You see, this is a cone which has been cut parallel to its base. So the base of the cone happens to be 44 millimeter, and if we extend this, you see I am going to extend this. So this is going to give me the completion of the cone over there. So this development of the upper portion will be taken up separately, and similarly, so this we have already discussed in the previous lectures as well. This is the truncated cylinder which has been cut by a cutting plane which is passing through all the 12 vertical generators of this particular cylinder. So this is a cylinder, right? If I complete the cylinder, the original cylinder will look like this. So the completed cylinder has been cut with respect to an AIP which is inclined to the horizontal plane. So the two separate developments will make it one funnel over here, right? So we have divided this funnel into two components over there. So let us start working on the development of this funnel as a whole. So first of all, we need to draw the original object. So this is the original object that is available with us. So here we have a frustum of a cone in which the base diameter happens to be 44 millimeter and the frustum top diameter happens to be 20 millimeter dia, and this height of this frustum is 24 millimeter. Similarly, for the cylinder is going to have the diameter equal to 20 millimeter. Length of the cylinder, uncut cylinder, happens to be 40 millimeter, and this has been cut by a cutting plane so that the two coordinates they are given. So the one is the rightmost bottom corner, and the cutting plane passes through the second coordinate which happens to be 24 millimeter below this top face on the left hand side, right? So this completes the construction of this particular original object. So here you see this is the cone which we have, and here you see this diameter will be equal to 44 millimeter, right? And then we are going to move 24 millimeter on this side so that we get 20 millimeter diameter of the frustum over there. So this diameter will be 20 millimeter, and then after joining this, so this cone will be completed over there so that we get the true length of this slant edge of this particular cone over here, right? And the cylinder again we have divided into two components. First one was the straight portion, and the second one, it is the triangular portion over there, but this is the complete cylinder. Okay, so here we have the complete cylinder over here, and this is the upper portion, that is this corresponds to the frustum of the cone. Now you see, as usual, we require to draw two circles over here. One circle corresponding to 44 millimeter diameter and another one corresponding to 20 millimeter diameter. So since we have to save in space over here because the development also has to be developed, so rather than making a full circle, we are going to draw a semicircle over here and another semicircle over here we are going to draw. The reason is quite simple, because the extreme, you see the generators, they are the single ones. O1 and O7 will be lying here, and wherever you see O2 is there, O12 is going to, you see, merge with it. They are the generators which are coinciding in the front view as well. So you see, we have drawn over here one semicircle which will be corresponding to this particular diameter over here. So since the diameter happens to be 44 millimeter, so the radius of this semicircle we have taken to be 22 millimeter. And having drawn this particular radius of 22 millimeter, now we have divided this semicircle into 6 equal parts. You see, usually what we are doing, we are drawing the complete circle, and after drawing the complete circle, we are getting the circle divided into 12 equal parts. But later on we find out that in the front view, all these points, the internal 5 generators, they are getting superimposed upon each other. So that is why you see, even if we are drawing, you see half of a circle over here, but all the points we have mentioned, just to get a feel of it, that we have drawn a full circle, and these points, they are going to merge in the front view, because ultimately in the frustum of a cone we need the only one dimension over here, which is this sector length. So the sector length we require. So whether we draw a full circle or whether we draw a semicircle, it doesn't make much of a difference over there. Now here we go, point 1, point 2, point 3, point 4, 5, 6 and 7. And even if we draw the other part, so 6 and 8 they would have coincided, 5 and 9 they would have coincided, 4 and 10 in the front view they would have coincided, and similarly 3 and 11 and 2 and 12 they would have coincided with each other in the front view. So this is our frustum of a cone. Now if we extend this, you see what we have done over here, we have extended this slant edge and then extended it up to this point. Similarly, the other portion of this slant edge also we have extended, and till the point where they meet, so here we get the apex point corresponding to this particular cone. So the apex has been located over here for this cone over here. You see, I have extended this. Similarly, I have extended this. So wherever these two slant edges they meet, I get this slant length over there. Now this point is O dash. In the front view, this point will be 7 dash. This point will be O dash, and this point will be 1 dash in the front view. Now you see what happens, since O1 and O7, please check, since O1 and O7 they happen to be parallel to the XY line, therefore O dash 1 dash slant edge and O dash 7 dash slant edge, they happen to be the true lengths over there. And similarly, this is another cone, smaller one, and in this cone as well the base is available. Now once again, corresponding to this base, I am going to draw another semicircle. So just similar to these, again 12 points we are going to obtain. So in order to differentiate between this numbering and this numbering, first change I have made is I have changed the color of this numbering, and second, I have added a suffix 1 over here. So this point will be 1 1, 2 1, 3 1, 4 1, 5 1, 6 1 and 7 1. And similarly, had I drawn this complete circle, 6 and 8 they would have coincided, 5 1 and 9 1 they would have coincided, 4 1, 10 1, 3 1, 11 1 and 2 1, 12 1 they would all have coincided in the front view. And similarly over here, please check, O dash, since O11 and O71 they are parallel to XY, so therefore O dash 11 dash and O dash 71 dash they are again true length. So for the smaller cone, so the slant length should be this much. For the bigger cone, the slant length should be this much. Now since I know the slant length, so I can draw the arc related to the starting from point O over here. Please check, starting from point O, I have this true length of the slant edge of this particular cone, which is this one. So using this as the radius, I have drawn a large arc over there. Similarly, corresponding, because this is also a true length, this is also the true length for the smaller cone over here, which is the extended cone which has been cut. So corresponding to this frustum point, that is diameter is 20 and the radius is 10 millimeter. So this circle has been drawn corresponding to diameter 20 or radius equal to 10 millimeter. Now this is my true length. This is my true length for the smaller cone. And now I draw another arc over here. Now what I need to do, please check. I have got the divisions for all these chord lengths over here. So distance from point 1 to point 2 will be same as distance from point 2 to 3, then 3 to 4, 4 to 5, 5 to 6 and 6 to 7. So all these chord lengths, they happen to be equal. So each sector is for 30 degree because we have divided this into 12 equal parts. So starting from point 1, I am going to mark 12 arcs onto the outer curve corresponding to this distance. Similarly, corresponding to this distance over here, 1 1 to 2 1, 2 1 to 3 1. So 12 arcs will be drawn over here corresponding to this smaller semicircle sector length over here. That is the chord length, distance between 1 1 and 2 1. That is the distance of one sector we will measure. So 12 arcs will be drawn over here. And then we are going to join starting from here all these radial generators. This will give us the development of the frustum of the cone. So please see, since we have divided this into 12 parts, now what we are going to do over here, all these radial lines, radial generators we have drawn. On the inner side, please check. On the inner side, automatically the chord length will be equal to 1 1 to 2 1 over here. All these chord lengths. Whereas on the outer side, the chord length will be corresponding to this. So since this portion of the cone has been removed, you check, this portion of the cone has been removed. So this is going to be my development corresponding to the upper part of the funnel. The upper part of the funnel will be this much, right? So I am going to put down all these points: 1 1, 2 1, 3 1, 4 1, 5 1, 6 1. You move to 12 1 and then get back to 1 1. Similarly over here, corresponding to the upper semicircle, that is which is for drawn for 44 millimeter diameter, measure this chord length over here, and then all these chord lengths they will be equal. So 12 arcs they have been drawn over here and 12 arcs they have been drawn over here on the inner side. The inner side arcs will be corresponding to this length 1 1 to 2 1, whereas the outer side, you see, chord lengths they will be equal to 1 to 2, 2 to 3. So once you mark them up, now I can darken this portion over here. You see this portion of the arc I can darken. Similarly, inner portion of the arc I can darken, and then these two edges I can darken. So this gives me the complete construction of the development of frustum of a cone whose dimensions have been provided to me. So this we had discussed in our earlier lectures as well. But now here, these two things, they have been combined into one. Rather, both of these developments separately we have already studied in our previous lecture discussions over there. Now, this is our cylinder which has been cut by an AIP, and this cutting cylinder is going to pass through all the 12 vertical generators of this cylinder over here, right? So this cutting plane is going to pass through all the 12 vertical generator. You can see this is my cutting plane. So these are the generator points. So the numbering is given over here. The outermost is 1 1. This one is corresponding to the vertical generator 2 1 and 12 1. So this projector line is corresponding to the vertical generators 3 1 and 11 1. This is for 4 1 and 10 1. This vertical generator is corresponding to 5 1 and 9 1. This vertical generator corresponds to 6 1 and 8 1, and this is 1 for 7 1. So now we know that this cylinder, which was otherwise like this, has been cut by a cutting plane in this orientation, right? So now we know that what is the actual height of the cylinder, because in order to develop true length, we need to work out true lengths over there. So the height of the cylinder, you see, how much is this? This is equal to 40 millimeter. So this is the height. So I know the height of the cylinder. Number one, I should know the sector length. So the sector lengths, they are available. So now I am going to draw, you see the horizontal lines. This is the parallel line. This was the radial line development method, and this is the parallel line development method. So here this is one problem where the application of radial line development method and the parallel line development method has been used simultaneously. So in the parallel line development method, what we do, there are two stretch lines. Just see, this is stretch line from one end of the solid or the cylinder. This is second stretch line which is emerging from the second end of the cylinder, last one. Then these are the divisions, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So at 7 points, and on the 7 points, the outermost points, they are corresponding to 1 and 7. They will carry only 1 point of intersection, whereas the internal 5 projectors over here, as usual, they will be carrying 2 points of intersection each. So this locus line over here will be carrying 6 and 8 points. This locus line will be carrying the points 5 and 9. This locus line will be carrying the points 4 and 10. This locus line will be carrying the points 3 and 11. This locus line will be carrying the points 2 and 12. So this is corresponding to 2, 1 and 12, 1. So here the points 2, 1 and 12, 1 will be there, right? So similarly here 3, 1, 11, 1 will be there. Here 4, 1 and 10, 1 will be there, right? Here 5, 1, 9, 1 will be there. Here 6, 1, 8, 1. So here 7, 1. So here 1, 1 point will be lying over there. So now let us draw the vertical generators over here. So all the lateral generators, they will be located in between. So let us draw the lateral generators. So these are all the lateral generators. So please see, 12 sectors you have to obtain. So you start from point 1, 1. You see, I am going to mark the points. We have started from vertical generator 1, 1. Then it is 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 6, 1. 7, 1, 8, 1, 9, 1, 10, 1, 11, 1, 12, 1, again 1, 1. So the starting point and the end point has to be the same, right? So that is why you get 12 sector. Let us count those sector. Sector 1, sector 2, sector 3, sector 4, sector 5, sector 6, sector 7, sector 8, sector 9, sector 10, sector 11 and sector 12. So 12 sectors they have been located. I know the vertical, you see generator points over here. Locus line for the vertical generator. Now the corresponding points, they need to be evaluated. So please check. This is my point of intersection of the cutting plane with the point vertical generator number 1. So since I am starting at 1 and I am ending at 1, so at this point the first and the last point will be the same. And what are those points of intersection? So keeping parity with these numeral values and the alphabet values. So generator 1 has been cut by the cutting plane at a point A1. Generator 2 will be cut by the cutting plane at the point B1. Generator 3-1 will be cut by the cutting plane at a point C1. Similarly 4-1 will be cut by cutting plane at a point which will be D1. Similarly generator 5-1 will be cut by the cutting plane at the point E1. Similarly, F1 will be there on C6-1 and G1 is located on to 7-1. Similarly, you have H1 located on 8-1, I1 located on 9-1, J1 located on 10-1, K1 located on 11-1 and L1 located on vertical generator 12-1. So we know that where all these points they are going to lie. So let us start marking these points over here. So here is 1-1, here is 1-1. So on 1-1, which point of intersection is there? A1. Please check. A1 is the point of intersection of the cutting plane and it is going to cut which vertical generator? 1-1. So at 1-1, I am getting A1. So please see, it is there at both the ends. So again at 1-1 vertical generator, I am getting the POI as 1-1. Now this is my second projection line, and onto this projection line which points will be lying? 2 and 12. So 2 and 12 means B and L will be lying. So B1 and L1 will be lying at 2-1 and 12-1. So you see, this is the vertical generator through 2-1 and this is horizontal generator through B1 and L1. So wherever they meet, so B1 will be located here, L1 will be located here. So please see, B1 is located here, L1 is located here. Next, This is my horizontal generator corresponding to C1 and K1. This is corresponding to C1 and K1. And which generators it is going to cut? 3-1 and 11-1. So on 3-1, you see, on 3-1 generator, vertical generator, I am going to locate which point? C1 over here. So C1 will be located on the 3-1 vertical generator and K1 will be located on 11-1 vertical generator. Similarly, the next one, D1 and J1. So these are the generator lines for the fourth intersection point. So this is the pair of intersection points will be lying over here. Now where these two intersection points will be lying, that is D1 and J1, they will be lying at 4-1 vertical projector and 10-1 vertical projector respectively. So corresponding to this horizontal line, where does 4-1 vertical projector lie? 4-1 vertical projector lies here. So from here you draw the horizontal projector. So this point will be D1 and this point on 10-1, this point name will be J1 over here. Next you have this one, that is after D1 J1 you have E1 I1. So this is the horizontal projector line for E1 and I1. So E1 lies on which vertical generator? 5-1. And I1 lies on which vertical generator? 9-1. So I draw the horizontal projector line. So this is my fifth vertical generator. So wherever it intersects with 5-1, I get point E1. Wherever this horizontal generator intersects with 9-1, I get the generator point over there, POI, that is point of intersection I1. Now next I have the horizontal line corresponding to another pair of intersection points, that is F1 and H1 over here. This is F1, this is H1. F1 lies on which vertical generator? 6-1. And H1 lies on which vertical generator? 8-1. So from here I draw the horizontal line. Wherever this horizontal line intersects with the 6-1 vertical generator, I get the point F1 over here. Similarly, wherever this horizontal line intersects with the vertical generator 8-1, I get another point of intersection H1 over here. And finally, the last point corresponding to this cylinder, this is G1. So from where does G1 lie? G1 lies on the vertical generator 7-1. So this is the point of intersection of the cutting plane with the edge, vertical edge 7-1 of the cylinder. So now this is the locus line of G1. Let us locate 7-1 vertical, you see, projector through this edge. So this is the 7-1 vertical edge or the vertical generator. So I get the point G1. Now this curve is completed. So I will be joining this curve freehand, and this will be the remaining portion of my cylinder over there. So this is my curve which is joined freehand over here. Then I am going to join the remaining portion of the cylinder which is uncut. Again, this will also be joined, and this is also being joined over here. So this is the development of the truncated cylinder using parallel line development method, and this is the development of the frustum of a cone using radial line development method. So here you see, this is a problem in which the principles of radial line development method as well as the principles of parallel line development method have been used alongside the projections, the principles of the projections of the solid over here, and principles of the section of the solid, they have also been used. So this problem is a versatile problem, we can say, where the principles of projections of solid, principles of section of solid, and the principles of development, that is both the methods of development, parallel line development method and the radial line development method. So they have all been used simultaneously to provide us the solution to develop the lateral surface of this truncated solid over here, right? So this is all about the discussion regarding the development of a funnel. Now if we are going to join this part, just roll this part, and again you are going to roll this part and then join these two parts. So this funnel will be your final end product over there, right? So this is how we can obtain the development of a surface, and this surface now we are not treating it as a single object. So we have divided it into two components, and both the components have been developed separately using radial line as well as the parallel line development methods over there. So this is all for today, that the discussion that we wanted to have. Now in the subsequent lectures we are going to discuss few more cases of the development of the solid. So in the final case, you see we have joined this particular thing as well. Okay, right. So thank you very much. Thanks a lot.